concept behind it was that we were going to make a great-looking movie that had a ton of production value for a budget that was not really associated with a movie of this quality. And the film would include CGI, stunts, effects, you know, a name cast, and that's what we did. And basically it was based on a film that was very successful at Fox Home Video called Python. And we decided we were going to do something along the lines of that, and we decided to do a werewolf film.
It's a dream come true for me. First time something's been produced. And if somebody had told me I was going to be writing a werewolf movie, I would have laughed at them. But it happened, and there we go. Werewolves don't scare me. Wolves in general don't scare me. So I had to find out what was frightening about them. Number two, I don't like creature movies in general. You know, when it's now that I look back, it's not a werewolf movie. But on the other side of it, coming into it for the first time, it's a werewolf movie. So I'm thinking werewolf movie. I'm thinking Lon Chaney. I'm thinking this, and we had to come up with, from the research off the internet, we had to come up from scratch with a whole mythology and a whole history of this subculture, and that's so it's not really a werewolf movie.
I was really excited actually when I got the audition. I was reading over the sides and I was practicing with my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm just gonna call him and tell him I can't do this because there's no way that I can fake a werewolf coming after me. I was completely in denial about being able to do the scenes. The audition scenes were really intense, dramatic scenes that I felt so disconnected to that I just looked phony while I was doing it. But fortunately I was encouraged to go in anyways, so I'm glad I did.
Ouch. I knew who was going off the cars and through the walls. Yes, ouch, that's exactly what I thought. No, I thought it would be a lot of fun. I mean, it's a good script and it's got a lot of action, so fun guys heaven.
Honestly, thought it might have been a little cheesy, but once I got through the whole thing, it really looked, I don't know, it looked good. It was definitely done professionally, and the storyline ended up panning out pretty cool. The whole werewolf thing is kind of like, I didn't know what to think at first, but ended up coming out really good. I liked it.
I thought it was very well written and a little scary. And actually, the night I read it, I went outside to sit on the porch. It was about midnight. And I was just sitting there relaxing. It was really quiet, and all of a sudden a coyote runs through the bushes. Runs straight towards me, and I'm like, this is a sign.
I thought that the screenplay really worked because it worked on a number of levels. It had youth appeal. It had a bunch of kids, a bunch of teens running around. They were good to look at, good-looking teens. It had a creature. It lent for a lot of possibilities for a really kind of interesting creature and a different kind of werewolf that we haven't seen before. It had some sex, which always sells. A rooftop sequence, which was quite sexy. And all in all, I think it just had all the elements that was necessary for a film like this. Well, my favorite scenes were the werewolf scenes because, it was a challenge. We had our werewolf was composed of a bunch of different elements. We were doing a CGI werewolf, which is a special effects computer graphic werewolf. We were doing a man in a werewolf suit, which initially was an ape suit modified to be a werewolf suit, a very expensive ape suit, about a $90,000 ape suit, which we modified to a werewolf suit. And getting the werewolf to move correctly and to look correct was really an interesting task. Especially since it was a quadruped and it needed to walk on 4 legs. But also, it was really interesting working with the leads in the more intimate scenes because they just had really good chemistry and they worked so well, and it was very fresh.
It would have to be that the one with Miguel because I'm most often playing characters or a character behind a mask that never speaks. So it's nice to get some dialogue in there and you know, see what I really look like and do scenes like that.
I wanted to do this movie so badly because of the transformation scenes. I knew that would be just like very, I guess it would test my ability to how far I could go, and hopefully I went, you know, to a good place.
It was also my least favorite scene was getting killed. It was just the makeup was so unique. You know, having the mask in my face of the werewolf, and then being discovered by Stacy and Anna. It was just kind of cool, their reactions, and me being, you know, covered in God knows how much blood and fake guts and organs falling out of my body.
I would say, like, challenging wise for me as an actress, and just intense and all that, probably the elevator scene with Bo and I, where we're kind of stuck in the elevator shaft getting away from the wolf, and that's probably the closest he's gotten to us at that point of getting us. And I had to go from a very intense, you know, emotional status of being really freaked out to kind of calming it down and being upset.
I think the actors were terrific. Ryan Alosio and Samaire Armstrong were fantastic. They really had chemistry. They're both relatively unknown, though Samaire and Ryan had both done some small features before, and it just seemed like they totally gelled throughout the film. The rest of the cast was terrific too. I mean, Jaime Bergman, we gave an opportunity to do something that she hadn't really done that much before. Jaime Bergman is from Son of the Beach, and her venue is really comedy, and she did a great job, really good job. And even the surrounding cast, who is basically a young and new supporting cast, were terrific. They really did their jobs, and they were there 100%. Crew was terrific. I had worked with a bunch of the crew before, and they did their jobs. They were fantastic. It was very tough because we were shooting nights. A lot of times we would start at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening and shoot till about 11, 12 the next morning, which was not easy for anybody to do. I give them a lot of credit for staying up, though we have a wall of shame in which most of the crew did not stay up, and at one point or another we've caught pretty much everybody dozing on the set, including myself. There were times where I was about to call action and just kind of dozed out during the take because we were working such crazy hours for such a long amount of time.
I've loved all of the crew. I mean, they're what makes it happen. Without every single person on the set, it would be nothing. So when it comes down to the very last PA on the shoot, making things go well, giving you an extra pat on the back, just being cool, that's very awesome.
The cast and crew was fantastic. They are really, really amazing. Great group of people, very supportive. Just a great time with them. Just really, really talented. And everybody gelled really nicely. It was a pleasant surprise.
Oh, cast and crew are great. Especially, I mean, I don't know how half the people they cast, but I mean, they're all really, really good.
Love the cast and crew. The cast is great. Ryan, I just worked with Ryan and Tippy, which was great. Tippy's amazing. And the crew is great. You know, we work long hours, a lot of overtime, and you know, it's night shoots, which is you know, torture. So everyone's maintained.
Very impressed with the cast. For, you know, a modest budget like we have, got some really good performances out of the cast, and the crew was one of the best I've worked with as far as, you know, being easy to get along with, no attitudes or anything like that. I had a very good time.
I think they're amazing. The crew really sets the tone for how like the whole experience is going to be, and everyone is so cheerful and so excited about being together and having this friendship relationship that we have going on with each other, that it is such a pleasure to come to work.
The casting of the two leads Samaire, the first time she walked in, walked out, I couldn't stop thinking about her for the rest of the casting. And we went through a lot of people. And when she came back for the second time, same thing happened. And so I'd say that was the home run on that one, was her. And Ryan, of course, was brilliant. He did the same thing. He walked in, and I think everybody was somewhat taken aback by how he could turn pure bullshit into reality.
I think Ryan did a great performance. He had a lot of dialogue. There was no cuts in between the scenes. And I think he's just, he did a great job.
I think I like Josie the best because she was vulnerable yet very strong, and I like the fact that she almost in a small way came of age in the movie, because she started off not knowing anything about what was happening to her and then ended up in complete control of what was happening to her.
I thought it was very cool. You know, I enjoy these kind of horror and sci-fi movies, so it was really neat, and it was neat to work with Dark Wolf and to work with Kane, who played it like a guy. So he was really scary. It was interesting because when we were doing my death scene, he had his stunt double kind of start off, and that went okay, but it was a whole different story once Kane stepped into it. You know, he was so intimidating, and it was great, really.
Very scary, I would say. It's been like good and fun and easy to work myself up into a frenzy of having a huge beast like that after me.
So we're like Rocky the groundskeeper. He tells us there's ghosts in there, right? And so we go up into upstairs where the strip club was, and we find like this. We check out the set, and then when we're walking back through the door that we came in, the lights go out. So we all scream and run like idiots to the door, and then all of a sudden the door is just miraculously closed. So I start pulling on the door, and the door starts shaking, and then when I let go of it, it's fine, and it won't open. It will like move a little bit. You know when like someone else is on the other side of the door, you get that like pull resistance? And so we kept pulling it, and then finally we go into the other door, but that was locked, and when we come back, the door was open, and when we opened it, it made a shitload of noise.
And so basically...
Well, it was just weird, because how did the door shut without us knowing it? Because it was so loud, and we were just like right there. Yeah, so that was really creepy.
It would probably be the scene where I killed, or went into Miguel's apartment where he is, and asking him where the girl is, because it was a real heavy emotional thing. I had to be really enraged, and pretty easy for me to do, but it was probably the most difficult because you have to do that over and over, and I had to have really high energy, but that's what I liked about it.
The hardest part is being on all fours. I mean, I'm a guy, I walk on 2 feet. You try and start walking like a wolf, with leg extensions that weigh 15 pounds apiece and a 25-pound suit and a head on top of you. It's difficult. And it's even more difficult trying to do stunts in it. But, I mean, the suit's great. I mean, it's real flexible. I mean, everything that could be done was done to make it easy.
I'd probably have to go with Sasha on this one, because we had a pretty big scene together that was, I think, extremely challenging for the both of us. I had such a great time here. I really enjoyed the entire experience. As tiring as it may have been sometimes, I love all the people here and the story and the wolf and all of it. It's really great. I love it.
My experience was great. I think I learned a lot from this movie, especially doing a drama. I'm so used to doing comedy that it's been a new experience, and I can't wait to see it.
Oh, very good. Absolutely amazing experience. And it makes me feel like I can do anything just because it was very challenging.
I'd say 80% of it was my vision, and I enjoyed the 20% that wasn't. That's the beauty of filmmaking. You take something and you give it to somebody, and they have a whole different take on it, and it was great. I think I would make the dialogue shorter, because there were some times when it got awfully long, and in some cases it was necessary to get long. We couldn't write around it. The history had to be told. The backstory was necessary.
There's not a hell of a lot that I would have done differently. I might have incorporated a few more days. Since the whole movie takes place at night, we had to shoot at night. I might have incorporated a few more days. But really, I was extraordinarily pleased with the way it ended up for such a monumental task. I think 24p is not only the wave of the future, but it's coming up very soon. There's a substantial portion of television is shooting high-def 24p. There are many features now shooting 24p. Obviously, Star Wars shot in high-def 24p. And I think that after shooting with it, the stuff looks great. I mean, it looks terrific when you're done. There are some differences in shooting that from the standard 35mm film. Camera differences in setup. It does require a bit more time, but I think that once that's worked out in the next couple of years, it's going to be the standard. There's going to be a lot of people shooting 24p. I think Dark Wolf could be terrific. It's a really good Saturday matinee horror film. It can hold its own with, I think, any horror feature that's out there. It's got all the elements. I think it could go really far, and hopefully it'll be noticed by the right audience.